Right.
Again.
We're back at the same spot. All right.
Yeah. So the next concept,
Is what happens after you die.
so you go through the doorway,
Mhm.
and you have to understand your death is very, very unique to you. There could be purgation in that death that is taking place, pre-death or even during. People ask, when they see, very, very disturbing deaths, how could God do that? And we will say, that's not God's will, is for us to die. That was something that is part of justice. So it's essentially where we're headed, in so many words, is like we are preparing for that here in this lesson, because that doorway opens you up to facing Jesus. It does not matter what your practice is or what your beliefs or non-beliefs are, because we live in a biblical place and we are living in God's kingdom, whether we like it or not. Here in the church militant is what we call this. At death, you're going to face this personal judgment, and there's even a judgment after that. There's the second judgment,
which is the final judgment.
And that's everybody.
Which is on humanity, or the Jews with the Jewish culture. It's called the Adam.
Yeah.
That's the whole of humanity.
The whole of mankind is judged according to God's will for creation and each of our parts in that. So how well did we work Jesus's plan here in the state, in the point and place of being that we witnessed our part of the journey? What did we do with that? Did we only do us? Did we do evil? Did we, all those things are going to come to a head after we pass. And it's better to do your purgation here than to do that there. And it's better to work on your sainthood here and start functioning like that as best as you can where Jesus wants you to be. So the judgments are quite interesting. So let's talk about the personal judgment.
Okay. First of all, we believe that when upon death, because I was talking to a priest at this retreat that I was at, and he was talking about that, and he said, when he goes to give the final, well, not final rites, but the sacrament of healing. And the way he was taught was, if the body is still warm, we still have time to do it. And so what we have been, with the little research we've done, or a lot, it seems to be there's about a 3-minute period when you have to make that final plea, shall we say. It says when angels are created, they instantly have to decide if they want.
Are they for God or against?
Yeah, are they going to obey or disobey, or not want to obey God? Where we have our life.
Servium or non-servium. Yeah. I will serve, I will not serve. Non-servium or servium.
Whereas we have all the way up to our last breath, and apparently a little bit after that, we have this time to decide.
A mercy. Well, I think that time is very important because there are some people that are so coded in this journey. Their souls have been so wounded on so many levels that it's just a monumental feat for us to, in our fallen state, to help heal those souls. And sometimes I think Jesus is so merciful on so many levels that even that 3 minutes, and if you notice that, it's almost like a little tiny, I don't know, micro 3 days in the tomb kind of thing, and there's no time, but it's like
There's lots of numbers in the Bible.
Yeah,
They all have
it's
different
knowing
meanings.
that there's a tiny bit of time even built in for those people that, really were not getting it. Like, Jesus is that incredibly merciful that he even gives us time after. It's not a lot of time, but what's important is they see him, and see his face, and they get to know, that helps them a lot. And part of the stuff that we do on our end is we minister to the dying. It's we pray for them, we're interceding for them.
Yeah.
To Jesus, we're offering up our own penances that we come across, for him to use, on the behalf of another soul that he knows is in desperate need. And then on top of that, there's other mercies that he's built into the final passing to make sure that we're able to eventually embrace our sainthood and go back to God if that's what we freely will to do. And then there's, big penalties, if that is not what the soul decides, and they continue to be non-serviam even after death. So the important understanding is when you get to the final judgment, there is some built-in stuff before, for that soul to desire to be a friend of Jesus in their heart. But at death, the human will becomes fixed. So most people are like, well, how could God, send people to hell, or, not send, them to heaven, or so on and so forth. And honestly, I've come to learn that it's actually the soul itself that makes that determination.
Yeah, it's us. Yeah.
We decide ourselves at death where we are where our hearts are in relation to Jesus. So if you're working each day towards that end, and in your heart, even if you mess up and you have to go to confession every day, which I'm every week almost, it doesn't matter. We just keep doing the deeds. We keep moving forward. We keep in our prayer life and our sacramental life, and we keep trugging forward towards, God the Father, to go back home to him. So
God desires all of us to come to heaven and be with him, but that's with the free will thing that he gave us. It's up to us. So it's like where it says God is always around us, and the Trinity, and always waiting for us to say yes. And then that's all we have to do. And then follow his directions, his path.
Because imagine, this thing, this state of being is happening here, and we're leaving this pilgrimage, and the first face you see is the face of mercy, love, and truth. And that's why you can't escape where your heart is in relation to him, because he is truth itself. When you're staring God in the face, you're staring truth in the face, and that's reflected back. If you're not reflecting his image back to him, he knows you're in a bad spot. And we're going to get into that next.
All right. God bless.